Yes, revolutionary greetings once again, comrades, from wherever you're joining us. This is our conscious study class. We do welcome you to our Saturday unification class, where we actually meet with the purpose of discussing the unification of Africa into one continental government. So today, as you all know, we are actually going to discuss about Congo. So not be wasting much time without actually going straight to our point. We want to get maximum time for this discussion today. And therefore, we will, of course, do our magazine review for the continent, but very fast. I'll go very fast to pick only key points on that magazine review. Then we'll just go straight to this session for today, because we have a lot to say. We have many people are ready to present what they have. I'll also be sharing some facts, which is either statistics in regards to Congo in terms of composition, the population, and the total segmentation in terms of their outlook. Then now we'll have a session. We intend to have a session whereby after the news part, we'll do the introduction part by Brother Kwame. Then from there, it will be the introduction to this topic by Brother Kwame and what you envision out of this discussion. And from there, we'll open our floor. So far, I know Brother Uraga from Congo has confirmed to do a presentation on reaction on what's going on the ground. We have Brother Pichao, who is also here from Congo, who will share with us what's going on. Then after that, we'll go straight to open discussion to find the way forward for Congo. So permit me to go straight and start the magazine, The Continent. We have agreed with Brother Inome that the new alternatives of the magazine that are presented or proposed are actually shared on a monthly basis. So we'll have on a monthly basis alternate to another continental monthly magazine review. So without wasting my time, if you allow me, permit me to go straight to the magazine, The Continent. You can confirm if you can hear me or whether there's any issue that I need to adjust on. Am I loud?
You're not as clear as you normally are, Brother Pigeon.
I think now it's better because I think my microphone was down.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's better now, brother. That's better.
Yeah, I realized the sound of my microphone was down. So let me go to the magazine, the so-called Continent, so that we can check what's covered here. So starting with Kenya, it's recorded that after President William Ruto announced visa-free travel to Kenya, travelers were confused to find that the country merely moved its visa registration online, rebranding it as electronic travel authorization. So there's no visa-free in Kenya. You have to go back to the electronic travel authorization, and you have to pay $30 for it. In Mali, Eagles captain wings clipped. Mali football captain Hamari Traore has been given a 4-match ban after being found guilty of unsporting conduct towards Egyptian referee Mohamed Adele during the African Cup of Nations quarters. In Comoros, the president of Mauritania, Mohamed Gazouni, has been elected as the new chairperson of African Union for 2024. Gazouni takes over from Azali Assoumi, the president of Comoros, with the less on his plate. I think there's also the president of Kenya, who is the opposition leader from Kenya, who is also eyeing from the AU chairmanship, which is in regards to the current chairman. They want to replace Mohamed Faki. Raila Odinga is aiming to that, and he showed his interest for that. Then we check in Senegalese, there's Ibrahim Baha, Senegalese migrant who was found guilty of manslaughter for the deaths of 4 people who drowned when the dinghy he was steering sank. This is according to the UK. So the prosecution was done in UK. Britain's prosecution service also found Baha and facilitated a breach of immigration law. If you go to South Africa, Cape Town engulfed by reeking miasma. Recently ranked the second best city in the world, Cape Town can now add Oudopo to its list of tourism distraction. That's part of it. Somali, there's a Somalia mortgages cost to Istanbul to keep Abiy at bay. So for 10 years, Turkey will get 30% of all official revenues. Sad indeed. Official revenues from the waters of Somali's 3,000
300 kilometers coastline. In return, the NATO member country will help Mogadishu rebuild its navy and defend the waters from piracy, terrorism, and foreign interference. This is very funny indeed. In Guinea, the president threatened media for reporting on coup attempts. The Committee to Protect Journalists called on Guinea-Bissau President Omari Sissoko Embalo to withdraw his threats against the media. This included accusing journalists of siding with the opposition and vowing to end anarchy that has seen anyone become a political commentator. In Haiti, First Lady charged for president's murder. The widow of Haitian President Jovenel Moise was charged this week with complicity in his murder. Martin Moise, former Prime Minister Claude Joseph, and a former police chief, Leonard Charles, along 47 others, are accused of playing some part in his death. In African Union, they have said that the donkey hide or head trade ban during the recent African Union summit, the body approved continent-wide ban of trade of donkey heads. So that's also there. In Ghana, a year after being let go, Africa staff asked by X, which is ex-Twitter, have been paid for severance they were promised. When Elon Musk took over Twitter in 2022, he cut its name and 6,000 jobs. In Guinea, junta just can't stop couping itself. The military leader who took power from Guinea, first democratically elected President Alpha Conde, in September 2021, dissolved the interim cabinet of ministers they appointed. All bets are now off on the junta handing power over to civilian government in December, as it had promised. In Ghana, the anti-gay bill becomes an imperial loop problem. The passage of a bill first proposed in the mid-2021 to expand Ghana restriction on its LGBTQ plus citizens stalled again this week. It was saying to jail a person for his or her sexuality will not be the solution to maintaining our Ghanaian family values and ensuring proper human rights, said the then deputy leader of the ruling legislatures, Afenyo Makin, in Parliament Wednesday. He is now its leader. Of course, still going on in Ghana, a public health crisis is brewing in Tamale, the capital of Ghana, northern region, thanks to the rise of misuse of tramadol, a prescription opium pain medicine. Young people in particular are becoming addicted to the medication, which releases endorphins and blocks pain signals. In Nigeria, newsrooms are still overrun by men. So leadership and management roles in the Nigerian media sector are plagued by significant gender disparities, according to a New York report by Wole Soyinka Center of Investigative Journalism. In Nigeria, again, defending the Naira with gun, the country is in one of its worst economic crises in recent years. In January, inflation in Nigeria rose to 29.9%, the highest in nearly 3 decades, and the state is looking for scapegoats. So Malan Bashir Abiru, the chain operator at Sabo, a popular currency exchange market in Ibadan, Southwest Nigeria, was at work on Wednesday morning before stepping at around noon. When he returned a few minutes later, officials of the Department of State Security and other law enforcement agencies had stormed the area. They just came in and started picking up everyone. I think it's the dollar issue that has been, or the currency issue that has been going on in Kenya. Also, I saw it. It just fluctuated over a week. I don't know if it is instigated or it is honest one. Then we have the daunting reality of clean fuel. So this is also counting on African farmers to grow biofuel crops. That is a story covered there. Then if you go down a bit to, in Kampala, the streets of Kampala are best zipped through on a border, whether you are a Ugandan or a tourist, knowing border speak will make that experience more fluid. So this industry. In Kenya, of course, border industry is recorded to have over 3 million people. So I think that's the story of travel in Uganda that's also covered there. And then let's go down to what's covered again. Now, how much do you trust the police? These are analysis on the police, very interesting. If the low public trust is a problem for public work, many African police forces have a problem. According to 53 1,444 interviews in 39 countries, fewer than a half, 46% of African adults say they have trust in police. So this is also a very interesting story that to check here. The trust in police, like for example, Ghana, Senegal is 52, Niger is 60. Other data is here, so it's worth for you to look for this data to check what's going on. There's also an information here of a cracking way to start 2024 in African fiction comes with intruding concept of God. So basically, that's what the continent today discuss. Not much of course, political analysis, but the Cameroon opposition's hope for a renaissance. Opposition in Cameroon has had a worrying trajectory since it was legalized in 1990. Things look positive at first. Vibrant parties emerged, such as the Social Democratic Front, led by the charisma Ni John Frundi. It won more than half of the seats in the National Assembly. While the President Biya secured the election, he only beat D by 4%, and everything changed. So that's also a story there. And that marked almost the end of the magazine today. So there's not much of more reported, but that's the end of the magazine today. Back to you, Brother Kwame.
Yeah. Brother Pigeon, thank you very much for going through the continent for us. Let me take the opportunity to welcome all of you to this week's or this Saturday's, if you like, congregation to discuss the Congo. And let me also take the opportunity to ask those of you who come in regular on Saturday if you can also support us by looking at this magazine in advance, reading it, and then summarizing what it's telling us to support us, because the work has been left for only a few people to do. And we would appreciate more support. We just need your time, basically. We need time. We need your time to devote some time to looking at this magazine. The whole point of this magazine, when we review it, is to draw our attention to whether or not you think the leading media across the continent, whether they are addressing Pan-African issues. And the fact that some of you have complained about the magazine is indicative of the fact that you don't think that the magazine addresses Pan-African issues. Now, you and I know that no one is going to address Pan-African issues except Pan-Africanists. It's like Nkrumah saying, you can't build socialism without socialists. If you want to build socialism, you have to have socialists. If you want to, so we can't have a newspaper or a magazine or whether online, offline, doesn't matter, but we can't have a publication that reflects the Pan-African view without Pan-Africanists doing it. This is a problem. The work has been left for only a few people, and a lot of people have become spectators. I'm not referring to the vast majority of Africans who are looking up to their educated people, because that's why they sent us to school. The African nation, sent us to school to go and acquire the tools to come and help them make better decisions. Some of us have privatized the tools. We don't use them for ourselves and our own career development. We don't care about the people. So I'm not talking about the vast majority of our people. I'm talking about those who have gone to school and have been educated and have high levels of scientific, scientific, technological, engineering, and mathematical knowledge, skills, and experience, and who are doing nothing to advance the continent. It is these people I'm referring to, that they've left the work for only a few people who are passionate about the unification, the development, and the liberation of Africa. And so we are asking those of you here, please come and ask us, what can I also do? So that's what I want to say about that. Pigeon only can't be reviewing the magazine every week, and there are other people who are he has to do so much, and some of us are doing very little or doing nothing, basically. Your contribution will be welcome. I think we are here for the Congo. The Congo, the Congo is an interesting.
Sorry, brother. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt, brother. You just asked a question about asking the group, everybody listening, what can we do to support yourselves?
I'm not asking to say it now. I'm not asking to say
Oh,
it
right.
now.
Okay. Yeah. You wanna talk about it later.
Think about it and let us know. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, for example, we would like more people to chair meetings. Meetings don't have to be chaired by just myself and Brother Pigeon. And that people can chair meetings too. We don't have to do everything. Anyway, so let us know what you think you can do. Now the Congo, the time is 7:26 GMT. The Congo is an interesting one. To cut a long story short, so we can get on with the presentations and the discussions. The Pan-African movement, led by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, believed in the Congo, and in terms of confraternity or the fraternal relations of Africans as Africans, he sent the Ghanaian armed forces to the Congo during the crisis. And the crisis, as you know, was precipitated by the fact that the Americans wanted uranium so they can build bombs. And they feared that the Pan-African movement, which they feared was moving east, would give these minerals to then USSR and the East. So they didn't want, if you like, their geopolitical opponents to get hold of these resources. And so the Congo became the battleground for geopolitical conflict of the highest order. There are a lot of dimensions to this. But I think you know that the uranium that was dropped, the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that uranium came from the Congo. Anyway, in order to secure the independence and the transformation of Congo, Kwame Nkrumah, then of Ghana, Osajifo, sent he, as the president, set a contingent to the Congo to protect. That was their mission. Go protect Patrice Lumumba, secure him, and make sure he is alive. That is your mission. And as you know, or do not know, the Ghana Armed Forces went and they failed. In fact, they disobeyed the president and decided, because they were a United Nations contingent, that they would listen to the United Nations, the commander of the United Nations forces. And as you know, America controlled the UN. They left Patrice Lumumba at the mercy of his enemies, and he was murdered. And as you know, his body was dissolved by the American president of the time, who gave the order for him to be killed. And you see, what is interesting is that this is why some of us have lost faith in America. America will do nothing for the liberation, the unification, and development of the world. They say they are trying to promote democracy everywhere, but really, it's never about democracy. Because if it was about democracy, when the imperialists were leaving Africa, the French, the English, the Angolans, even though there was war and so on, and a country that itself was a colony of Britain many years ago and had to liberate itself through war with Britain at the time, under King George, you would have thought that will support us. Instead, America decided to supplant the imperialists and then gave birth to what Nkrumah called collective imperialism. So now they had all now come up with America as the top dog to rape, to murder, to steal, and so on. And the result is that many years now down the line, despite the fact that we became independent, starting in Ghana in 1957. So next month, 6th March, Ghana will celebrate its independence again. And America basically failed us, as it is failing the Palestinians big time by supplying huge bombs to Israel to drop on women and children and kill them. This is the kind of nation that says that it is the leader of the free world. And so Africa and the Congo became a battleground. And the result is all we can see. So we have here our brother who I would like to speak in Swahili. I think I would love if he speaks in Swahili so that Brother Pigeon can interpret. Because it'd be nice to hear the African voice, not always English or French, you know. Let's hear an African voice. Let's hear an African language. And then let it be interpreted in English for those of us who speak English. And if there are any people here who would like it to be interpreted in French, and there's a French person here and you want to interpret, that is all well and good. Anyway, at the end of the day, the contingent that went to the Congo after failing to carry out the orders of the president came back to Ghana and overthrew the government of Nkrumah, and thus plunged Africa into a Pan-Africanist nightmare, which we have still not been delivered from, because the attack on Kwame Nkrumah, the CPP in Ghana, really dealt a blow to the Pan-African cause and reversed a lot of our gains. A lot of his books were burned, manuscripts were stolen. His general who kept certain documents for him was shot. It was disgraceful what America and the CIA did in Ghana. Very disgraceful. Yeah. So we are here to listen to our brothers and sisters from the Congo, so they can tell us, because they are there, or they originate from the Congo, don't live there, but they know the history, they know the story, they know what is going on, and they want to share it with us. And I think at the end of the day, we have to resolve on a resolution. What is it we will do? And you recall that our brother from Cameroon also made a presentation to us on the Cameroonian situation. And at the time, we wanted to come up with a kind of resolution as to what we will do, because Africa as a whole has failed the Cameroonians. And as we'll hear from the Congo as well, African leaders have failed the Congo. So we here must make a decision as to what we think should be done. So thank you very much, Brother Pigeon. As you will be sharing the presentations, I will at this point hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Kwame. Brother Pichau is also from Congo, has actually confirmed that he has a network problems, and maybe he will join when he's able. But with us, we have Brother Uraga, who will then do a presentation a bit in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Then Brother Coco will come in with an analysis of CIA and recolonization of Africa in the context of Congo. Then we can move forward like that so that you can move on with our discussion. Brother Oraga, ndugu Oraga, habari yako?
Yes, mzuri sana.
Ushafika?
Mko salama wote?
Yeah, we are good. We are all good here.
No, niko kwa boda naelekea Sirare.
Okay.
Kuna mtu ambaye akona shida kidogo huko nyumbani. Ni yeye pia ni mzalendo, alikuwa kwenye vita, lakini kwa bahati mbaya amepatwa na marisasi. Sasa matibabu yake imekuwa ngumu kidogo huko nyumbani. Sasa niko njiani, sasa niko kwenye hoteli, ndo naenda kumchukua sehemu fulani niweze kumleta Kenya kwa ajili ya matibabu, lakini pole sana. Kwa hiyo ndo sababu nimechelewa kidogo kwa mazungumzo.
Okay, thank you. So Brother Koraga is confirming that he is capable, of course, to share his presentation today, but he has run towards the border of Kenya and Tanzania called Sirari, where one of the comrades from Congo has actually been wounded by gun or bullet wound, and they are trying to see if they can bring him to Kenya for medication. So he's in the border, but he's at a comfortable place in an hotel where he can be able to do some short presentation for us.
Thank you.
So ndugu Oraga, unaweza endelea kidogo. Kwanza tungependa kujua kutoka kwako haswa kuendelea na mjadala tulikuwa na wakati uliopita, haswa ni nini vita, nini kiini ya vita Congo, what is the real cause of the war in Congo, na nini haswa ndio mwelekeo sasa hivi Congo inaelekeaje sasa hivi, what is the real situation kwa ground in Congo, and what is now the last call of appeal to Pan-Africans. Unafikiria ni nini tunafaa tufanye kama Wanaafrika kusaidia Congo? Hayo ndio maswali matatu ambayo tutaungana of course, ambayo nitakuwa ninakuuliza siku ya leo.
Ndio, asante sana Wanaafrika. Mimi ni kwa majina ni Uraga Dieu merci. Mimi ni mzaliwa wa Magunda, Uvira, umetoka kwa territoire Uvira, mjini Uvira kwa milima ambazo zinaitwa Magunda.
Okay,
Na
so,
mimi ni mwakilishi wa wazalendo nje ya nchi mzima. Yeah, okay.
So he's saying that his name is Uraga, is from the parts of Congo. Umesema mlima gani?
Magunda, Uvira, Magunda.
So he's from a place called Uvira in Magunda, and is part of the representatives of Congo's diaspora team, those who are outside Congo. Yes,
ndio, na kwa kufuatana na vita ambazo zinaendelea huko mjini Congo, katika nchi ya Congo, tatizo kubwa ambayo iko huko Congo ni kuwa sana sana kitu ambacho tunaweza kusema sababu ama kiini cha vita ambazo zinaendelea huko ni vita ambazo zinaendelezwa na wageni ambao wamekuja kupora. Lengo lao sana sana ni kupora madini, na katika kuumiza watu wanaua watoto wadogo na wakubwa, wamama, wababa, wote wanaangamia katika mavita zao.
Tulia kidogo, lazima nifanye translation. So he's saying that the main problem of the war that's going on in the parts of Congo is actually caused by people who are actually visitors in Congo, who have actually invaded Congo, and their main reason is to take over the resources in Congo, and they call them visitors in Congo. And in that process of trying to take over the resources in Congo, they are killing both children, women, and the elderly. Unaweza endelea brother Oraga, but nenda polepole ndio niweze
kutranslate. Kuna sawa. Na katika mambo hayo yote ambayo wanafanya, unajua Umoja wa Mataifa sana sana tuseme Marekani wanatumia nchi ya Rwanda kuhakikisha kuwa wanaweza kuaccess Congo, kwa sababu unafahamu kuwa Rwanda ni nchi ambayo iko karibu na Congo, iko very close to Congo. Sasa wanatumia Rwanda, na unajua miaka ambazo zimepita kuna zile vita ambazo genocide yenye ambayo ilikuwa Rwanda, wakimbizi kutoka Rwanda wakaingia Congo, kisha kuingia Congo. Sasa wale ambao wamekaa huko sana baadaye wakaanza kujipea, yani kujigaidi baadaye kwa kujipea nationality ambayo ni kinyume na sheria. Na ni kinyume na sheria kwa sababu unapata watu wanatoka nje, huwezi kuwa mkimbizi alafu kuje mkimbizi kwa nchi ya wengine alafu unakuja na silaha. Waliingia na silaha huko.
Nenda polepole. So he's saying that the war that's going on in Congo. Uraga.
Yes.
Naomba uende polepole. So
okay.
Uraga is saying that the war in Congo actually is also influenced by the United Nations that are actually going through Rwanda to access Congo. And he's saying that there was a war, of course, that we remember the war, genocide war in Congo, in Rwanda. Then some Rwandese crossed over to Congo, and then they gave themselves citizenships of Congo that they refer or regard as illegal citizenship, acquisition of citizenship in Congo.
I have a quick question on that. We wait and then I have a quick question on that. Yeah.
let's wait to finish the part of the presentation in the next 5 minutes or 10.
Thank you.
Then now we can have the question open answer.
Thank you.
Uraga, unaendelea?
Ndio, alafu kufuatana na vile mambo yalivyotokea huko Kongo, sasa wakimbizi waliingia, makosa ambayo yalifanyika kwa viongozi wetu ambao walikuwa wa enzi hizo, walikubali waingie wakiwa na masilaha. Sasa silaha ziliendelea hivyo, na ni hivyo walikuja kujipata watu wanakuwa katika serikali, na katika kuwa kwenye serikali walianza kunyanyasa watu, kuanza kuua watu. Sasa kufuatana na Umoja wa Mataifa hiyo Marekani na Umoja wa Mataifa, kwa sababu walikuwa wanahitaji vitu fulani kutoka madini kutoka Kongo. Sasa walianza kusapoti nchi ya Rwanda, na katika kusapoti nchi ya Rwanda waliingiza movement ya kwanza ilikuwa inaitwa RCD, wakaingiza ya pili, wakaingiza ya tatu, imekuja ni M23, na sasa hizi ndo wanaendelea kuleta usalama mdogo katika Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo.
Okay,
Na ni raia ambao wanatoka nje ya nchi, sio kuwa ni Wakongo wanapigana. Hapana, hiyo ni uongo kabisa. Sio Wakongo wanapigana, ni Rwanda ambayo inavamia nchi ya Kongo kusaidia Wamarekani vibaraka, kuwasaidia kuweza kupora mahali ya Afrika na kupora mahali ya Kongo na kufanya mavurugu zote hizo ambazo zinaendelea huko.
Sasa tulia kidogo basi. So he's saying that of course when the people from Rwanda actually escaped Rwanda during the so-called genocide war, some of them came to Congo armed with ammunition and armed. Then over a period of time living in Congo, they actually moved to integrate in the systems and in the governance of Congo. Then they decided now to start killing each other and trying to chase each other within the Congo. And he's saying that this was actually aided by the US and the United Nations, who then used the people who moved from Rwanda to Congo to help them continue looting the resources from Congo. And therefore, the war in Congo, as to he's saying, is not the war between the Congolese, but the war between those in Congo trying to fight those who actually invaded Congo from Rwanda and who are actually being used by the US to take over the resources from Rwanda. Now, and the last group is saying there are so many groups that have come in from Rwanda. And the last group is this now M23, which is a group coming in to Rwanda for the same purpose of actually trying to fight other Congolese and killing, and in the process, taking over the resources from Congo. Uraga, unaendelea?
Ndio. Na katika vurugu hizo, kama vita ambazo zimepitika hapa last week, nimekuwa huko last week kama siku 3 ambazo zimepita, nimekuwa huko DRC. Kuna mambo ambayo tulikuwa tunaenda kurekebisha, kuna vita ambazo zinaendelea huko, na wananchi wa Kongo, vijana wa Kongo kabisa wazalendo, na wapongeza sana kwa sababu wamejaribu sana kadiri na uwezo wao na kupiga adui vibaya sana. Ni ile ambazo zinapatikana za wao maadui kutoka Rwanda ni ziko nyingi sana. Kitu ambacho pia naweza kuongeza kabla, kwa sababu muda wangu utakuwa mfupi kidogo kufuatana na mambo ambayo niko ndani saa hizi, ni kusema kuwa Rwanda, rais wa Rwanda ni rais ambaye anaumiza watu wake sana, na sasa hivi kuna information kusema kuwa sasa hizi Rwanda au wanajeshi ambao vijana ambao wanatumwa huko Kongo kwenda kupigana hizo vita M23 kutoka Rwanda, wanaumia, na wanapofariki mili zao zikirudi Rwanda, wanakataza familia zao kufanya mazishi. Yaani mazishi isikuwe public, wanawazika tu. Kwa hiyo raia wa Rwanda kama Africans wenzetu tunaumia sana. Ingekuwa vema kabisa sisi kama Pan Africans, sisi kama Umoja wa Afrika, watu ambao tunasimamia vikundi mbalimbali katika yetu ya Afrika, bara letu la Afrika, tungeweza kusaidia na kupatia vijana wetu mashauri, ingekuwa kitu muhimu sana, kwa sababu wamekufa zaidi ya 75 ambazo mimi nimeona kwa macho yangu. 75 vijana wadogo kabisa, unaona, young men wanakufa kabisa katika vita za huko. Wazalendo wamejitahidi kabisa, wanapigana na njia zote ambazo zinawezekana, mapanga, mawe, kila kitu, silaha, kila kitu ambayo inawezekana wanapigana nao kujaribu kwa nchi.
Okay, so Uraga is saying that of recent there's been war in Congo that's ongoing today and up to date, and he was there around the last week, And the people of Congo, the young patriotic, he called them the young patriotics of Congo, have decided now to take arms to face their so-called brothers from Rwanda who have crossed over to cause chaos in Congo. And he's saying so far within the last week, he can estimate of having come across around 75 bodies of young Rwandese who crossed over in Congo. So there has been serious intensified war. And he's saying that those Rwandese who are coming over to Congo in the so-called the M23, and the very young people have actually been killed, and when their body go back to Rwanda, their families are not allowed to see them. So the government of Rwanda is burying them in secrecy. And his call is that there are so many young people who should be talked to, because the majority of people dying in this war are young people who are either coming from Rwanda to cause the war in Congo, and the Congolese are now in armed forces trying to fight those young people from Rwanda who are actually getting into Congo. Oraga, kabla hujamaliza, he's saying also that his time might be limited with us, and he wished to actually finish part of his presentation because he's on a journey so that he can proceed with this journey. So Oraga, tukielekea kumalizia, jambo lako la mwisho ni ipi? Nimejua uko na labda mikakati kadhaa ama labda juu ratiba yako imejaa sana. So tuambie mambo yako ya mwisho labda kwako ni vipi? Ungeomba tufanye nini?
Ndio, ningeomba sisi kama Pan-Africans kuweza kupeleka message hii kila mahali nchini Afrika na kuweza kushauri vijana ambao wanadanganywa kutoka huko Rwanda. Sio kuwa Rwanda ni vijana wabaya, ni kuwa kiongozi ambaye anaongoza ndio anawaongoza vibaya. Na ni kusema kuwa sisi kama Pan-Africans tungefaa kusimama na kuwa pamoja na kuweza kukomesha hizi vita. Saa hizi ambazo nimekaa kwa muda fulani Kenya, kuna mambo ambayo yanaendelea Kenya. Kuna mzee fulani ambayo pia unapata katika hiyo mambo ambayo zilipitika huko Rwanda, rais ambaye wa Rwanda anaendelea kutumia intelligence wake na kuendelea kuvuka mipaka kuingia mpaka Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, kila mahali, na kuendelea kuumiza wale ambao wako katika tribe nyingine ya Wahutu. Anafata Wahutu kila mahali na kuanza kuua watu ambao wako innocent. Kuna mzee ambaye anaitwa Yusuf Gasanga, alikuwa anapatikana hapo Kenya, Nairobi, sehemu ambayo inaitwa Komarok. Huyo mzee alienda akachukuliwa nyumbani kwake bana, alipotea, lakini katika information ambazo tunazo inaaminika kuwa amechukuliwa na serikali ya Rwanda. Na sio huyo peke yake, rais huyo Kagame anaendelea kuchukua watu kutoka sehemu mbalimbali na kuwafanya wapotee kabisa. Anawapoteza, kuwachukua na kwenda kuwamaliza, baadaye wanapata miili huko. Sasa hii familia ya huyo mzee ambaye anaitwa Yusuf Gasanga wanahangaika sana. Ana familia ambayo wana watoto hapo Nairobi, hapo Komarok, Nairobi. Ya, wanahangaika sana, na wengine ambao walipatikana wanaenda, mtu anatolewa hapa Nairobi anapelekwa mpaka Rwanda, anaenda kuuliwa huko. Ni kitu ambacho kinahuzunisha sana kwa serikali ya Rwanda, ijapokuwa Umoja wa Mataifa wanafungia macho. Sisi kama Pan-Africans na tungeweza kuunga wazalendo mkono kwa ajili ya kusaidia nchi ya Kongo, ingesaidia sana.
Thank you. So Rage is saying that of course, there's a serious need for us to talk with the young people of Rwanda. It's not that the Rwandese are wrong or not right, but the young people of Rwanda should be talked to ensure that they change their mindset towards attacking or getting into Congo and causing more war. And he's saying that the blame must be put forth to the president of Rwanda, who is actually using all forces possible to fight the people of, he's following the community called Tutsi, the nationality called Hutu, not Tutsi, Hutu. And he's trying to kill all of them from wherever, because you see some of them ran actually towards Congo during the war. And he's saying that some have even disappeared as far as in Nairobi here, where there's one family, a man called Yusuf here in Kenya, in Nairobi, who actually disappeared from his community or his house in Nairobi here, and it's believed he was followed up by the Rwandan government for having supported the patriotic movement of Congo, who are defending their country, and that many people are still disappearing, and the Rwandan president is trying to reach over and follow over everybody who is either behind the patriotic movement of Congo to try to actually kill or finish all of them. And that's what's going on in Congo and in Rwanda. So tukimalizia, kuna jambo lolote tena ungependa kusema?
Ni kusema kuwa vijana ambao wanaitwa wazalendo ni Mai Mai group ambazo zimekuwa kuanzia miaka nyingi sana ambazo zimepita miaka 30 na kitu zaidi, ambazo ziko huko Congo yote East yote East Congo yote iko hizo group ziko Eastern part yote ya Congo. Ni kusema kuwa congratulations kwa hao vijana kwa kazi ambayo wanaendelea kutetea nchi, ni kazi ambayo wanafanya nzuri sana. Sisi kama Pan Africans, ingekuwa vema, nimeona kabisa kitu ambacho ndugu yetu Ibrahim Traore, kitu ambacho amefanya na Kongo, ambacho tunahitaji mtu ambaye ni shujaa. Sio kusema kuwa Kongo ama wazalendo tumeshindwa kuokoa nchi. Tuna uwezo wa kuokoa nchi. Tunahitaji mtu ambaye atakuwa mbele kwa sababu ya kuongoza kikosi, na unajua watu wana support kubwa sana kutoka Umoja wa Mataifa, US na nchi hizo zote ambazo za nje ambazo zinawa support. Lakini sisi kama wazalendo tuko imara na tuko na nguvu kabisa, na vijana wako tayari kabisa katika mapambano. Muda wote ule ambayo unasikia tunafukuza adui kutoka katika nchi kabisa, Goma yote huko Ruchuru, Masisi, kila mahali kabisa mtasikia, muda ambao sio mrefu mtasikia kuwa tumefukuza raia. Ni kitu ambacho tunahitaji katika wa Africans wenzetu, Pan Africans wenzetu, ni kuunga mkono na kutembeza habari hizi katika media, kusema kuwa kuonyesha dunia kuwa Kongo ambayo mambo yote ambayo yanaendelea Kongo, na kuonyesha adui ni nani, kwa sababu adui anafichwa na Umoja wa Mataifa. Na unafahamu kuwa mtu ambaye anaficha Umoja wa Mataifa kusema agunduliwe na kuwa ngumu, lakini pamoja na umoja wa Pan Africans, sisi kama ambao tuko hapa, hata kama tukiwa wadogo, tukitembeza habari hizi zitafika mbali sana na zitasaidia sana. Vijana wako imara na tunajaribu ile ambayo inawezekana. Silaha ambazo tunapata, marisasi ambazo tunapata ni zile ambazo tunakusanya katika raia ambao wanajitolea na kuchanga ile kidogo kidogo, tunapata ile marisasi ambazo zinasaidia mpaka sasa hivi. Kama unasikia adui wanapigwa, ni kwa sababu raia wako pamoja na wakongomani wote wamekuja pamoja. Na kupiga adui, tutapiga kabisa adui bila shida.
Thank you. So he's saying that, of course, he wants to, in his final remarks, to actually appreciate his fellow, the patriotic people of Congo, which is like a movement that has come out to defend the people of Congo against the attack by the invaders, whom we call either the foreigners from the Rwanda side, and that they are calling upon the Pan-Africans to work together with them and support them in their struggle and their fight to defend the Congo. For they believe that actually the enemy is hidden by the United Nations, and to this case, the enemy is US, who is hidden under the United Nations, and that they are going to do their best in order to ensure that they chase away the Rwandese who are being used actually to invade Congo from the eastern part of Congo, the Goma part of it, in the near future. And therefore, the appeal is the solidarity from the Pan-Africans, and let the Pan-African work together and stand with them. They are capable, and they believe that they are capable to defend their country at this particular moment, and they're looking forward to glory to them in any time soon. So that's his final call to all of us.
Before he goes, can he, when he says Pan-Africans to work with him, can you tell us exactly how? Just give us some examples, please.
Okay.
Before he goes, yeah.
Brother Oraga, kama unasema kwamba wana Pan-Africa wanafaa waunge nyinyi mkono, munatarajia waunge mkono kwa njia ipi?
Njia ambayo ningeomba Pan-Africans kuungiwa mkono kwa sisi kama wazalendo ni njia ya kusema kuwa ni kusambaza habari ambazo zinaendelea. Hata saa hizi ni kwa sababu bundles zangu ziko limited. Hata kuna zile video ambazo ningetuma hapa za mapigano ambayo imekuwa siku 3 ambazo zimepita, na kuendelea kuonyesha kuwa hao watu wanapopatikana kwenye mapambano wanapatikana wakiwa na vitambulisho za Rwanda, ni ami wao. Unapata mtu anakuwa anajidai kuwa yeye ni M23. Kufuatana na storia ambazo zinaelekea kwenye mtandao, wanasema kuwa wao pia ni Wakongo, wanapigana kwa ajili juu ya nchi yao Kongo, lakini tunapowapiga wanapatikana wakiwa na ma-ID za Rwanda, na ni ID ambazo ni za army, ni za ID za army za jeshi ya Rwanda. Kwa hiyo ni kitu ambacho kinahuzunisha sana, ni kitu ambacho ingefaa kuwa inaweka kwenye mitandao, kwa sababu mitandao inafanya kazi zaidi. Sisi kama Pan Africans tumefanya hii kikundi yetu, nafikiri soon, karibuni nita make sure kuwa ninawaunga pamoja na general wetu wa jeshi ambaye yuko kwenye yeye ambaye amebaki kwenye mapambano. Nitamuunga pamoja na yeye, nitamuunga kwenye hii meeting ambayo tunaweza plan next, kwa sababu sahihi hata nikiongea haraka hivi ni kwa sababu ya yale mambo ambayo nakimbizana ndani, ndio maana naongea kama situlii, roho yangu hajatulia. Nitawaunga na yeye, na pia mtaweza kumsikiza general wetu ambaye yuko huko Goma, ambaye anapigana na adui.
Okay.
Hao
So
watu wanapatikana wakiwa na hizo ID za Congo. They are not Congolese, they are Rwandese. Is Rwanda against Congo? They are fighting to take our minerals. Is the only thing that they want. Yeah.
Okay, so he's saying that the best way the Pan-Africans can actually join them is actually to expose the real issue that's going on in Congo. And he claims that some of the issues going on in Congo is that most of the people who are spearheading the war in Congo, after they are being chased or being killed, they are found with the identification card of the military from Rwanda or the army from Rwanda. So he's calling on the Pan-Africans to expose the reality in the mainstream media for the people to know what's really going on.
Okay, so expose. What else? So expose. What else? Anything else?
Chochote
Just
tena
one, 2, 3, 4. What do we need to do? Just list them for us. The top 3. So expose. What else?
First, when they are fighting under the name of Tutsi Congo. There is no Tutsi Congo. They are just refugees in Congo. And the second thing.
Yes. So think what we are saying. Hold on.
They are fighting.
Brother. Hold on.
Yes.
Yeah. So we understand. Thank you for the presentation. What we want to take from this meeting is, what would you like us to do? You've said expose. Anything else?
What we need to what I want the Pan-Africans to expose is to say that there is proof, so many proofs that when we are fighting with this rebel M23, we always get their ID. They are from Rwanda. They have ID from Rwanda, and is from the military of Rwanda. So they are not Congolese. The war is about Rwanda and Congo, but the Rwanda is carved by United Nations by supporting them, by giving them the munition. They give them munition to fight Congo, to fight Wazalendo, to take over, so that when they are fighting, they take like one area, like maybe a territory. Then they start taking minerals from there: casterite, cobalt, or gold, and the rest minerals, etc. They take so many minerals. So they take cheapest from the rebels. That's why they are continuing supporting these people, and they're continuing supporting these people by offering them the guns, ammunition. So they are killing people, so that the United Nations and the US, they can take minerals easily. They take it in a cheap price. Yeah.
Okay.
We need to expose these things, so that the world can understand that these people, they are killing Congolese, they are killing the Africans because of their minerals. And when they have been asking, why you guys doing this, they are saying, no, we are from Congo, we are fighting this tribe and this tribe. There's no fighting tribe in Congo. What is there is it is something about United Nations and America and Rwanda fighting together. They are fighting Congo, so that they can take the minerals. That is what is going on. There's so many people, more than 30 million killed in Congo. but they are still talking about genocide to Rwanda. How many people they have been killed in Rwanda? So that until now they will just continue talking about genocide. Congo, there's that million killed people there.
Okay, so thank you for that, Brother Kwame. Permit me to take the two hands up, but I know we'll arrive to other resolution because Pichau is also back here from Congo, who might extend this session to help us have proper resolutions.
Yeah, I think so. That's fine. There are some hands up, I think. Yeah, go on. Yeah, go ahead. But I think we need to listen to the African anthem at some point. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Kakamrad, yes, I'm sorry. I really want to move now. My person is in the border now. I have to go.
Uragan, as he left, but I just wanted to say that if we are able to provide any sort of support, because they are coming to Kenya, if we are able to support from the Kenyan side, at least the young man gets to health. If there is any need, that if there's something that we can do to help them get to hospital quicker, vitu kama hizo transport and what have you, I think me and you can organize and make sure that the young man at least is healthy. I think that is possible.
Okay, thank you for that. I know I will connect to him. He's been my friend, personal friend, and a neighbor where I stay. So I know him in person, and I will connect to him once he get the person is trying to get from the border. If possible, we can see the difficulty they are facing and how we can help them for the time being for the person to get any medication. Okay. But let me move further to Pichau, who is also from Congo, to extend this conversation a bit and maybe can be able to react to some of the few questions you've asked, but also to put for us the point of action or a call from us as the Pan-Africans. What is the clarion call from the people of Congo that we must do? What is the solidarity appeal to us?
Yes.
Can I draw attention? Sorry, can I draw attention, Brother Pigeon, that Sister Ida had a hand up here?
Okay, but I've seen it down. Let me ask, Sister Ida, are you still in position to ask your question?
No, I think he answered most of it. I think maybe we can ask the next brother who's going to speak. Are they saying that the government of Rwanda are also involved in all this? Is what I'd also like to know. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes,
they are.
Okay. Brother Pichau, your microphone is not connected. Are you able to connect your microphone so that you can continue this conversation from where it is? Yes, Brother Pichau? Brother Pichau? I'm trying to check him in the list. Is he around? Okay.
I don't see the name.
He was here. Maybe he has left a bit. So if he's not around, let me go to Brother Coco, who has done a bit analysis of the Congo issue in regards to the White Malice book on Congo, to also give us a little context, maybe in the next 5 minutes, on what is going on in the recording systems of Congo. Then we'll now open up to Brother Carrington, who might be having a question to come in, and continue like that. If Brother Pichau would be here, then we'll also give us the real part of what's going on in Congo. And if you are in Congo, or any members here who join us from Congo, can you let me know in the chat so that you can come in and also share what's going on in Congo? We really want to know what's going on from the ground. Brother Coco?
Brother Pigeon?
Yes.
Before Brother Coco speaks, can we hear the African anthem in the African language? Is that okay?
Okay.
So then Brother Coco can then speak. Yeah, Brother Coco can get ready to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's okay, then I want to share that so that we can hear the African anthem. So here we go. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Video was up. Video was up.
Yes. Yeah, this was sent to me by Sister Agnes, who I think may be here. Yeah, so here we go.
Just expand it to make it big so that you can hear your words.
Tuungane sote na tushereke pamoja ushindi kwa ukombozi wetu. pamoja, kuenzi shikamano, hatimaye tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika, chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini letu wakati wa mafarakano. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima.
Thank you. I think that's it.
Thank you. You can stop sharing your screen. Thank you for that. Now, Brother Coco, can you come in, please? And as I've indicated, anybody from Congo who might wish to share with us what's going on in Congo can indicate on the chat, but we'll also open up the space for others to come in, and all members present here.
Thank you, my brother. Greetings to you all on this call tonight. It's a privilege to be with you tonight in such a moving atmosphere. I think I listened to the young men discuss the issues they face in Congo, and I can somehow empathize and feel like I am already there. And I can see the challenges that they face as people of Congo, and especially as the youth of Congo, because it doesn't look like there is leadership in that part of Eastern DRC. They are under attack from outside, and there is that logistical problem that they are cut off from the rest of Congo, as it happened once or several times in the past. So I'm not speaking here as an expert on Congo. I'm speaking here because I read White Malice. But before White Malice, I also read In the Footsteps of Mr. Katz, which was written by Michaela Wrong, a journalist. So I recommend that book. I recommend both books and several other books, including The Holocaust in East Africa, which sort of delves into all of these issues which we are discussing tonight. So the biggest problem is here. Let's take the case of Singapore and then compare Singapore to Africa. Singapore was part of Malaysia, but Malaysia expelled Singapore. They didn't have anything, so they had to start from scratch. No one cared about them. Then they started from scratch, and now Singapore are one of the richest countries in the world because they didn't have anything. But if you read White Malice, you will realize that Africa is a bride that everyone wanted. Africa is a jewel that everyone wanted to put on their crown, especially the Congo. Hence, that's what happened. Under Belgian Congo, there were agreements which were signed with the Americans. One of those led to the uranium which was mined in Shinkolobwe in the province in the south, in Katanga. Katanga is one of the richest in minerals. The uranium which was mined there under the Belgians was used to wipe out what we knew as Hiroshima and Nagasaki during 1945 World War. So when Patrice Lumumba came in and they asked him that question, the Americans, they said, so what's going to happen with the arguments that we had in place? One of his foreign ministers said in that meeting, he was there, and he wanted to advise Lumumba to say, don't say anything, don't give them an answer, or at least say you continue with the arguments. But Lumumba said, well, this is a new government, and we need to renegotiate those arguments. Lumumba was meant to have met Eisenhower when he was in Washington during that trip. But Eisenhower decided no longer to meet Lumumba the minute he had said that. So as an economist and someone who has worked on commercial risk or country risk, I know how the investors see things. They see country risk or lack of continuity as one of the biggest political risks ever. And that was the red flag right there and then. So in that case, Lumumba signed his death certificate. He signed his death contract right there and then. He wanted Lumumba out. That was the time when the Belgians were already in Congo. So just to retrace the steps a bit back and explain how this happened. Congo got its independence on 30 June 1960. Then a few weeks after that, the army mutinied. There was an army mutiny in Congo because when the Belgians left, the Congolese didn't have any Congolese officers. Everyone who was doing the jobs in Congo, they were still Belgians. The civil service were still Belgians. The doctors, everyone. So they didn't give us any education. They didn't prepare us for eventual emancipation or independence. They ran Belgium Congo as if they were going to stay there forever and make it their own country. So what they were doing essentially was what you call settler colonialism. Leopoldville, Kinshasa itself was divided along racial lines. There was a nicer part of Kinshasa where blacks didn't go, or they just went there if they had some work to do. But the majority of Congolese had their own side of Kinshasa, Leopoldville, where they stayed. So when a Belgian officer told the soldiers, and he took them into a room and drew on a blackboard and said, here is a line. This is before independence, and this side is before independence. It's the same. Nothing changes. The soldiers were waiting to see changes because now they thought we have our own countries, our own country back. We have our own resources back. But the Belgian officer said no. And that's where all hell broke loose. When that happened, then the Belgians used that as an excuse to bring back their army. And they destabilized the Congo that way. And Lumumba went to the US and asked for help because he thought these people, they knew oppression. They have seen oppression. They had to fight for independence from Great Britain. Why can't they help us? In fact, Lumumba had been at the 1958 All People's Conference where he first met Fanon, met Mumi, met President Nkrumah. And he had met some Americans there. So he thought he had made some friends and didn't know how they operated. So unfortunately, it didn't work. And from that destabilization, it ended up with the whole of Congo splitting at one point or another, with Chombe taking Katanga, which was the richest, where Shingolobwe was, at the tacit support of the Belgians and the Americans. Lumumba, who was then an elected prime minister, even though it wasn't with a bigger majority, was toppled effectively by a man who he had thought was an ally. But unfortunately, the journalist, someone who he had brought closer to him in Joseph Mobutu, was someone in the pay pocket of the Americans. And Mobutu was involved not just in the toppling of Lumumba, was involved in hunting Lumumba when Lumumba had escaped from house arrest. He was involved in giving Lumumba to Chombe.
Brother Coco, and maybe in the next 4 minutes or 3, you can be summarizing so that you give other members to speak.
I'll do that. Thank you very much. So when I said Congo was destabilized and was split, there was a civil war, which ended up with the UN coming in. The UN came in twice. It came in 1960 during that time, and then came in again to quell the problem when Chombe broke away. In short, wanted to keep Katanga. And Mobutu was given power to unite that country. But later Mobutu took over, killing lots of prime ministers or whoever opposed him. So Mobutu was a creation of the CIA and the Belgians to be who he is. But at the same time, there were issues happening in Eastern DRC which Mobutu was not addressing. And some of those led to the genocide that happened in Rwanda. So when the genocide happened in Rwanda, the Hutus moved into Congo. Lots and lots of people moved into Congo. And then Kagame and Museveni used that as an excuse to invade Congo several times, at some point using Laurent Kabila. And then saying when Laurent Kabila is in power, he will expel the Hutus from Congo. But Laurent Kabila never did that. He reneged on that. That's why they came back again and then created one of the biggest war on the African soil, with Angola and Zimbabwe supporting Kabila's government, while Rwanda and Uganda were actually on the other side, supporting the rebels in the Eastern Congo. It's not the first time. So there are the people who are called the Banyamulenge. Banyamulenge are Congolese Tutsis. And all the time, Kagame will have an excuse to say, I'm coming in to help the Banyamulenge who are being oppressed, or a genocide is being done on the Banyamulenge. So there is a question of the Hutus who left Rwanda during 1994 and coming over to Congo. And then there's a question of the Banyamulenge. There are lots of things, but we know what the issues are. Is the resources. Congo is a bride that everyone wants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Coco, for that. Brother Carrington.
Yes, thank you very much. I think Brother Coco has explained the geopolitics of that East African Great Lakes region very, very well, starting from the pre-colonial to the colonial and the post-colonial. So there are very many people interested in the Congo. At one time, Zimbabwe had soldiers active in the Congo, taken together with Uganda, taken together with Rwanda. So Zimbabwe and Angola were fighting in Congo in support of the National Army, FARDC, against Uganda and Rwanda. And then at some point, Uganda and Rwanda ended up fighting each other in Congo. And there were personal disagreements between Museveni and Kagame. I had a question, but now the Congolese are not here. But maybe Coco can elucidate this point much more clearly. I heard the brother Uragan say that this Wanyamulenge, remember, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that our borders were drawn randomly. And therefore, because our borders were drawn randomly, there were spillovers of nations and tribes between countries, between states. So the problem of Africa is that the states do not match the nations. And this has been seriously destabilizing in the continent. So a group of people who have been living in the eastern region of Congo for a very, very long time, called the Wanyamulenge, who are Tutsi speakers, yes, were under a lot of persecution by the Mobutu Sese Seko dictatorial government. Now, what happened during the genocide? Uganda allied with the Tutsis through the Rwanda Patriotic Front, the RPF. And RPF under Kagame invaded Rwanda to disable the army. The army and the Interahamwe who were committing the genocide. This is the group that then moved into Congo and were housed by Mobutu Sese Seko, prompting Kagame and Uganda to then invade Congo to protect themselves from the Interahamwe and from the previous Rwandese army. But over time, this has evolved because of the serious business interests. And this is where I want to push our brothers and sisters and elders a little bit more to consider Rwanda's agency in the matter. Over time, Rwanda has come to build its entire infrastructure, its entire business model, the business model of operation of Rwanda, on the basis of selling Congolese minerals to China and the United States. So it's not Rwanda being used, it's Rwanda acting on its own regard. It has made this choice. Similarly to Uganda and Kenya too, by the way. That's why Mombasa is one of the most active ports in Africa. Why is it one of the most active ports in Africa? It's one of the most active ports in Africa because Congolese minerals are flowing through the port of Mombasa. We have a collective failure in the East African region and in the Great Lakes region. And the major problems, yes, there are participants in China, there are participants from the United States who want Eastern Congo to remain destabilized because it means coltan, tantalum, all these things are cheap. When the region is destabilized, you end up having child minors. But also, it is who is doing the destabilizing? It is the neighbors. Yes. Who is benefiting from the destabilizing? It is the neighbors. So there's a very serious discussion to be had here about the role, the very active role. And that's why you hear Brother Uragan, Brother Pichu, Brother DJ Mr. P complaining that Rwanda has a lot to say about this matter. And now what corrective actions we can take, what corrective actions we can suggest. Now I leave it to the group to discuss. So there's a problem here, but I wanted to understand the ancestry of the Wanyamulenge, because there is also that very serious problem that there are groups in Congo who do not recognize any Tutsi speakers in Congo. And that is a very serious problem that needs resolution. So there are no such thing, there's no such people as Congolese Tutsi speakers, whereas actually in reality there are. So it is something that needs to be discussed. And these groups do need to be protected against any military action, like all civilians and children.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for the long
Brother
speech.
Carrington, your long speech must end with what do you think must be done, not the group. You're part of the group. What do you propose must be done? You cannot speak and leave us to.
That's true. That's true. I cannot outsource this. Okay. One problem we are facing in Africa is that our collective institutions are extremely weak. And I think this is the point of conscientism. Trying to build more power into the African Union if possible, trying to build more power and executive power into regional, not even regional, the African Union if possible, such that we have an executive who control an active military, an executive who can take executive decisions. For example, I would suggest that serious negotiations be had between the African Union, the East African Community. It's an imperfect institution, but it must be used. We have no institutions coming from heaven. And Rwanda and Congo, and ultimatums be laid. So Rwanda is claiming that there's a group called the FDLR operating in Congo, a Hutu extremist group called FDLR operating in Congo with the connivance of the Congolese government. And vice versa, there is evidence that Rwanda is arming M23. So first step is to disarm all military groups, military rebel groups operating in your country and operating with the support of your country.
Okay.
Second step. So we are not, the problem here is that we are seeing Congo as a sort of victim. This is a very serious problem because the Congolese people are a victim. The Congolese government is not. Okay, so, and they should risk expulsion from the African Union. I think this is something that we ought to put on the table, that these people risk expulsion from the African Union and possible serious military action. But that requires a strong African Union.
Okay.
That requires a financed African Union. Thank you.
So I think, as I agree with you, is that the chairperson of the peacekeeping mission in Congo currently is our former president from Kenya. Will it be right that we, the Pan-Africans, either write a letter requesting that former president, who is the head of peacekeeping mission in Congo, to actually provide for us some of the questions we ask in regards of the progress in terms of the peace restoration in Congo, and what is the call for action to other Pan-Africans who are coming in? I think it should be a collective Pan-African letter written to the head of that peacekeeping mission in Congo, seeking a response, and if possible, a space for dialogue and information to the Pan-Africans on the state of affairs in Congo. Could that also be something?
That is also a possible remedial action. Yes, that is true. In the meantime, yes.
Okay, thank you.
What would we propose? That is the question, because we can't keep asking questions to the Peacekeeper Commission. What would
we need to discuss that. Okay, thank you. So, Biafra, your hand was up, but I've seen it gone down. Does it mean that your question is over, or do you want to come in before I move to Joseph? Biafra?
No, it's just that he just go direct to what I want to say, you know.
Okay, thank you.
I'm an invitee here. I'm a new person here, so I'm trying to understand the moves, because all of us, we are trapped into this.
Okay.
As you see my name, I'm from Biafra. I don't know what is Nigeria.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. My suggestion is that any group that are fighting to defend the land will stand with the government and make sure that the indigenous people is well and healthy. Let some people go to the front line to be fighting those people, changing work every morning. They change work because everybody will not be fighting these people. You understand? Some go back, some go front, so that indigenous people will be okay, because it's like all of them are fighting this. So some people will go back and systemize the community. Then others will go front and make sure that the group that are fighting for the indigenous people, their names are recorded. Then other groups that are not fighting for the indigenous people, we now know them and know the people we are fighting in the line. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Welcome to our class. We look forward to having you more and more. Brother Joseph?
Yeah, I'm very interested session so far. I remember somewhere in the late 90s or early 2000s, Congo came to Grenada in the form of a fugitive from the United States called Van Brink, who later went and married 22-year-old Ugandan woman, brought some so-called rebels from the DRC to discuss peace and development, which was kind of comical. And they discussed about having some development, and he was going to provide $500 million. Of course, he's dead now. He was a fugitive that defrauded people lots of money. And the BBC carried and covered this thing, and the truth about it, there was no conversation about peace. All it was about money. So it is true that there are many actors in the Congo, and they have different interests. I heard not too long ago of about some of the players in the Congo, including an Israeli billionaire who, among other things, they arm some of the people so that they can get, although the Chinese also was mentioned too, but a whole set of people are involved in terms of being able to get the resources at the human cost. So in terms of recommendation now, I think it would be good if we get a clearer understanding individually and collectively of the genesis, because some people still have mixed up concepts of what really happened in the Congo, particularly in recent times, not knowing that the genesis go way back. And then particularly after the genocide in Rwanda, when definitely some of the folks fled from Rwanda over the Hutus, and of course created some level of instability, and maybe still. But I would agree that over time, the dynamics have changed so that it's more messy now than before. Kagame could have claimed that he's going protecting his folks, or trying to keep the Hutus from coming back in making incursion into Rwanda. But this cannot be totally true. And remember, there was a time the West, particularly France, was keen to get Kagame arrested and even maybe face the ICJ. Is interested now that he's one of their heroes, one of their champions. So we need to ask questions on that thing. How this have happened? What have changed?
It's because he's in bed with America. That's why.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just asking the question rhetorically so we could really get a clearer idea. Because some people are confused. They think that Kagame is a liberator. Yes, he's mean for African, Pan-African. For the development of the continent, but he's really no more than a puppet. Remember the new thing in England where they're going to ship people over there, the so-called refugees. So it's messy, but we need to understand the mess.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, brother DJ Mr. P.
Thank you, brother. I've got to say, first, make a disclaimer. I'm really hacked off about this situation in Congo. Really, really cheesed off about it. Not because the West are behind it, but it's how our neighbors and brothers and sisters, like Museveni in Uganda, like Kagame in Rwanda, are being used as puppets for the extermination of our own people, our own Bantu people. And this thing really hacks me off. And it's very confusing. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Congo. I know a bit about Congo, but I know enough to post about it and to talk about it. Yeah. And I've been posting about Congo for a while now. Yeah, I've been posting about it for a while. And I'm frustrated because I don't know how we're gonna deal with this. I don't know what the solution is or how we're going to challenge this, because we've got our own people working against us. So it's bad enough us having to deal with the Israelis, because the Israelis, the Belgians, the French, the Americans, the British, they're all pigs at the same trough where Congo's concerned. Well, not even Congo, where Africa's concerned. Yeah. And I'm sick and I'm tired of this. I really am. And I'm frustrated because I don't know what to do. I don't know how we're going to deal with it. Not only are we dealing with a common enemy, which is the West, we're dealing with our own people in Rwanda and in Uganda. And I'm like, how are we going to sort this out? It's really frustrating for me. So I want to answer your question, Kwame. I want to answer your question from earlier on in terms of what can we do? Well, I am a radio station and I have a news feature called the BCNN Update, which only deals with African news. So I'm willing to invite any expert. Oh, sorry, talking about the BCNN, I spoke with our brother there in Congo, Urangan, the other day, and he's going to be reporting on that feature on my radio show very soon. I did try, we spoke initially, and I tried getting hold of him, and I've not been able to get hold of him since. And I'm pleased that he's still around, and we heard him on the call tonight. But I'm inviting anybody who wants to come on the radio and talk about Congo. I'm inviting you now. I'll put my number in the group chat. By all means, contact me. I'm more than willing to have you come on in a similar way to what we're doing right now. Come on and talk about Congo to raise awareness about this, because I've been screaming about it for how long, and it's like no one's hearing. It's not getting it's not getting the momentum that it really needs, because millions of our people have died out there, millions, and there's no need for that. We've got to do something about it. We've got to do something. Once we can get Uganda and Rwanda under control, because Kagame, there's no way, just like Joseph just said, yeah, how can we so pally-pally with England, right, to take refugees, these illegal immigrants, into Rwanda, yeah? England, I'm in England now. England's got 54 countries, well, 48 countries to choose from in Africa. Why Rwanda? Why them? Because he's a Judas. He is a Judas. That's why. So there's no way that Rwanda was able to develop itself to the state that it is above many other African countries, okay, without external help. And the external help came from America. They've been in bed with America for years, because it was Kagame that caused that genocide in Rwanda. It's him that caused the genocide in Rwanda. And this is what really hacks me off about the whole situation, going way back to the 90s, because him that shot down those the Hutu prime minister. And a brother from Zimbabwe, Rutendo Matinyarare, breaks it down very, very neatly. And I've spoken with him, and I'm going to be inviting him onto my radio show as well, because he's a very intelligent, intellectual brother, and he knows that he's got a lot of good history regarding and politics regarding the whole of Africa and what's been going on for how long. So I don't know what the answers are, but all I can do as a humble presenter is raise awareness and use my platform to help put the word out there, and only ask people to share the content.
Thank you.
That's my submission.
Thank you very much for your also call to action and trying to come in to help what you can. We appreciate that, brother DJ Mr. P. Sister Ida?
I wanted to ask, because I don't know enough about the Congo, but
Sister Ida, can you just hold on, please? Hold on, Sister Ida. DJ Mr. P, two things. First, your presentation in terms of what you said that you don't know how we should deal with this. It's our own killing our own. But can I just point out to you that is the nature of neocolonialism?
Yeah, I understand.
Neocolonialism is where your own father or your own mother is the one that is raping the country, and what will you do about it? You either accept it and be part of that family that steals from the people, or you oppose it. So that is the first thing. The other thing also is that you should not be frustrated, because you said you have been talking about these things, and nothing seems to be happening. And I'm mentioning this to draw your attention to the philosophy of dialectics, which we've been discussing on Thursdays. The thing about dialectics is that it teaches us that when it seems that nothing is happening, out of the blue comes categorical conversion. And what has actually been happening is that there are forces building up. It's like an earthquake. You don't see the forces underground. But then suddenly the earth shifts and there's an earthquake. To give you a very good example, when Hamas went into Israel, was it on the 7th of October?
Yeah, yeah.
At that point, everybody had given up on Palestine, and they thought that they could do business. And Israel gave mining rights to foreign companies to mine resources on the Gaza coast.
Correct.
So nobody was expecting any upheaval in the Middle East. The two-state solution had died. Everybody forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly comes Hamas. And now the world is in uproar, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
America's reputation is in tatters internationally because they are the ones supplying the bombs.
Correct.
Even they now are calling for a ceasefire. And I give that example only to show you that what is happening will not continue forever. I think when we discussed on Thursday, this issue came up, that the evolution of our universe is not monodirectional, is not unidirectional.
Yeah,
Some people think that what is happening will continue forever and ever. The universe and its laws don't work like that. Nothing lasts forever. Within the universe, everything has a beginning and has an end. However powerful you are, you have a beginning of that power, and there'll be an end to that power. And that's how the universe is.
True.
And so who would have thought that there will be a multipolar contradiction or counter power to American hegemony? Even the Americans themselves, you don't think that they would ever see anyone rising to challenge them on the global stage. But what happened? Out
China,
of the blue came China,
BRICS.
out of Russia, and then suddenly we have BRICS.
Yeah.
So I mean, barring the stupidity of the American elite who don't understand dialectics, I'm just trying to point out to you that even continue to talk, continue to explain, continue to educate, and you'll be contributing to what our brother from Congo, Boulay, calls pata pata, which is the rhythm, the sounds, the power and the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make that point.
And thank you, brother.
Yes, fine. Let me take the opportunity to recognize my brother Kafui Day from Ghana. He's here with us. I don't know if this is his first time, but brother Kafui, my Kingsman, welcome. Thank you. All right, brother Fiji, carry on.
Now let's go to Sister Ida so that we have the Ghana house fully represented. Sister Ida.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
I wanted to ask, the thing that tonight is slightly puzzling me is we hear about all these children in the mines and stuff like that. And I'm now, tonight, I wonder if they're all Congolese or whether they're being brought in from elsewhere. And especially as the brother who gave us the talk was saying how many young people were coming in from Rwanda, whether it's in their army or whatever. He said a lot of them, when you check, they're army people. But I now wonder, because at one point, there's always been these child soldiers all over, I think, that region. And I'm just wondering whether a lot of the child miners that we constantly see are all from Congo, because Congo is such a big country that I don't, I think we should also be examining that. Is all I can say.
That's a good concern to raise. Yes, Sister Ida. Of course, majority of those who are engaged in the war, which I'll have to do further investigation on, are actually minors below the age of 18. I think some times back I was called by a group of Rwandese in a virtual conference to talk about peace between the young people of Rwanda and the young people of Congo. Because to this young group of men, they believe that the biggest person who can liberate or stop the war is the young people. Because the young people are the people given the arm to go fight and kill each other. So it was like a mediation talk that I think should be one of the also the call to action that we should do on how do we have a dialogue conversation or a mediation talk between the young people across the borders from the Rwanda and the Congolese. Either we have to organize something like a conference or something like a direct talk or something possible so that you can have both young people from both sides actually having a talk to each other, because it's them who are fighting in the name of their masters. So I think it's also very important to check on the aspect of the young people. But the miners who do the mining in Congo are purely from Congo, and majority of them are poor, so they go to the mines despite of them having the resources. It's something that you need also to check on. So I think that is also a good line to check on. What I was talking about, the former mediator, I thought I saw you, it was put there. The former president of Kenya is somebody who you can have access to. President Uhuru Kenyatta. He has been appointed now for 2 years to lead the Congo peace deal. He has called for a conference of the Congolese came over here, and he also went over there, and is still active in that position. His office is in Kenya here, and what was put forth by Carrington is what should be form part of our letter to him, because we need to write a letter to him as the head of the delegation for peace in Congo, and those letters should point to action, and if possible, we should seek appointment with him, either physical appointment, which I know he can grant us, to see and discuss what is our part of point to action. Then we can table to him and see how we can actively, as Pan-African, join the conversation of this peacekeeping issue or resolution to peace in Congo. So I think that will be in order also. So let me get to other members haven't spoke here, of course. I see our comrade, you say Kafui Day is here. If you wish to say something, comrade, can you come in? And comrade Colin Mandingo, we are having only around 12 to 13 minutes to end. And comrade Jonathan Ja, you haven't spoken here. Raspala, anybody who has anything to speak? Our sister Uzo Maka is from, I think, Ghana. Anybody who have something
Nigeria,
to speak?
Sorry, Nigeria. She says
Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria. So kindly feel free to come in and.
I know Sister Mara hasn't spoken as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Sister Mary is also here from Uganda. Uganda has been accused of being Sister Myra, so maybe you come in also share something. Brother Coco, let me get to Kafu a day before I get back to you. But I'll be back to you because you had a space to.
It's Kafu Day. It's Kafu Day.
Hello. Yes, this is Kafu High from Accra. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here for the first time. I saw the link on the Kwame Nkrumah KNI site, and I thought this is something I'm interested in doing. I have on my YouTube channel interviews about history, and I'm about to do something on the Berlin Conference, and so this is just taking all the way back to how all this wahala started, and so I'm really happy to hear all the contributions about Congo. I was actually speaking to a former Congolese soldier who lives in Ghana now. And so I actually sent a link to him. He probably may have joined as well. So I'm really happy to be here, and I hope to be part of the conversations going forward. Thank you so much.
Akbalo.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you. Brother Coco?
Yes, brother. Thank you. We read from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah that there are several Pan-Africans or several Africans. And among those, he quotes the liberals and the conservatives. So what we are seeing here is Rwanda using the resources of Congo to enrich itself and enrich certain people within the Rwanda itself. Yesterday, we hosted a session on the land where we were asking who owns the land. And that's important because the people own the land. So right now, what we are seeing here is classic neo-colonialism happening. Thank you for intervening, Brother Kwame. It's happening right in front of our eyes, but there is nothing we can do. Our hands are bound behind our backs because the institution which is supposed to be overseeing all of this is a toothless dog. The AU was formed. I know, Brother Carrington, you still have some faint hope that the AU can intervene, but the AU is just useless. So I'm going to propose that we reach out to the Alliance of the Sahel to help intervene in the Congo. And I'm going to propose that the SADC and East African communities work together on this, because it was JLO who had produced another meaningful discussion between Kagame and Tshisekedi, but that did not last long, unfortunately. So we need to see Congo as our mother. Congo is us. Congo is not a separate entity somewhere in the wilderness. The Congolese are our people. They are our brothers. And I think that is what we agreed in our discussion yesterday, that we are all related as Africans. And the only way we can solve our problems is by coming together as families do and resolving our issues. Right now, we need to deal with the conservatives or the liberals, who are the Kagame family, enriching themselves out of the Congolese and leaving the poor. In fact, not even leaving them, but murdering them. It's time this has to stop. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Can I, sorry, Brother Dapiji, can I ask Brother Koko a question? Brother Koko, you know that within the structure of the AU, what you're asking us to ask the Sahel states to do will be seen as interfering in one another's internal affairs.
That was the OAU. The OAU did not intervene in each other's internal affairs, but AU has that. Unfortunately, now
but
the
Sahel
AU
are not part of the AU, are they? The Sahel states.
No, they are still part of the AU, but they are banned. They are sort of under sanctions. So I guess if we cannot get help from existing structures within the AU, we have people who are at least closer to Pan-Africanists or radical Pan-Africanists.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, so I think the head of AU peacekeeping mission in Congo, as I've said, is the former president of Kenya. So if we can access him in Nairobi here, we can get the position of what AU think about in terms of to that peacekeeping mission. Calling to the Sahel, yes?
Yeah, so I just want to know that as well.
Yeah, so he's the head of that peacekeeping mission in Congo in regards to AU delegation. But calling to Sahel is also an alternative we must do. But I think the first step is to seek from him what is the progress and also put forth what is our demand to him so that we can have an open conversation, even if it's a virtual conference on whatever it will take, so that the Pan-Africans can really know what is the step they are taking. As either the AU or the peacekeeping mission, what is the step they're taking, what are the challenges they're facing, and what they need from us as Pan-Africans. Because some of them think that we Africans are not concerned enough about our affairs. We are, and we can do something about it. So I think that will be a good step for us forward. But I want to listen, I want to hear Sister Myra, the neighbor, the Uganda neighbor of the Congo, on what is her take on what's going on and what does she think we can do. Sister Myra, as the good neighbor.
I don't really have much to say on this one, except that everything that has been said about Uganda is true. And as to what can be done, I think as long as there are certain characters that are still in power in the East African region, I don't see. I know, and I've heard what Brother Kwame has said, that things don't remain the same. But I think for a time, when those characters are still around, I don't see any force for good or positive change, because they really have their fingers in the pot everywhere. That's all. It's, yeah, to me, maybe the only thing is because I think the Congolese government got the East African peacekeeping forces out and brought in SADC. I think that was a really good move, because I was trying to follow what was happening, and there were some reports that the East African forces were just actually aiding the M23. When the local people would try to rise up and fight the M23, the East African forces would try to fight the local people, so they are protecting the M23 allegedly. So perhaps now the best thing for now is to leave East Africa out of it until the white men in black skins are not in power. That's all. I'm so sorry. I have, yeah.
The black men in white skin. That's an interesting way to put it.
Okay, as we are almost winding up, I've seen we have one member here called Calling Mandingo. Are you able to share something with us, comrade? We are almost winding up. We'll give you a space if you have something before
Brother
we come
Pidgin,
to the end. Yes.
Brother, you remember there's another sister who we haven't heard, Sister Uzomaka.
Yeah, Uzo is also here. Calling Mandingo, then Uzo Maka. Okay. Let's go then to Sister Uzo Maka. Calling Mandingo, if you'll be able, just unmute yourself and you'll be free to speak. Calling Mandingo, I see you are trying to set up. Are you able to speak? Okay. Let's go to Uzo. Uzo Amaka. Yes. Can you share something as a sister in the conference?
Well, what is happening in Congo?
Sorry, sister, can hardly hear you. Your voice is very, very quiet.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, much better,
Okay.
thanks. Thank you, yeah.
Okay. I said, what is happening in Congo is virtually what is happening everywhere. Even in Nigeria here, a lot of communities are in fighting mood in Nigeria, especially where there are mineral deposits. So it's an injury to one, an injury to all. There are a lot of they say banditry and a lot of terrorism happening in Nigeria as we speak today. And it's where minerals are deposits. So, but at this point in time, the Congo issue is more pertinent because it's more of genocide happening over there. So I will support anything that we have to do to raise awareness. I did my own bit in a little way, but we need to raise awareness. Many Africans do not know what is happening in Congo. So if they don't know what is happening in Congo, how will the people react to it? So it's a very few people who are talking about it, even on Twitter, on X. So if the awareness is not raised to a point of diverting individual media stations towards that. Here in Nigeria, I doubt many people don't know what is happening in Congo. So that is the problem all over Africa as of today. The awareness is quiet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is very important for us to, as a class, to do awareness. We can do it through our posters, our short videos as a class. We can sponsor some factual information. We can distribute them and help each other distribute them across. So thank you very much, sister, for that. We are now at our 10 exactly time, but I think we started around 11 minutes or 10 minutes late. So we will be winding. We are here on our winding part because it's already 9 p.m. In Kenya, it's already 12 a.m. So we'll be quick to wind up, which of course I'll call Brother Kwame to come in after Brother Joseph. Brother Joseph?
Yeah, Kwame. Pidgin, I want to suggest that we consider doing a documentary that will be very pointed, very strategic, so that it can be shared worldwide. And we may need to solicit the support of people who are technically savvy to help us to do it, and so it will basically history, the context, what is current, also the connivance or the complicity of the various, forces or elements. So if we can do that, maybe just as how in the 80s, someone in California did a little video on the farming in the Ogaden region. And it's in spite of the fact that the major media in the United States refused to attend to the farming for many months when it was on, that video caught the attention of the world, and we know always a lot of hypocrisy that the world started to respond to the famine in the Ogaden region of Ethiopia. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Of course, on the standby, I have my editor who can do an editing of maybe a 5 to 10 minutes video. Once I collect the relevant information, I have a close editor to myself who can be able to put everything in context as required. So we need only the content, then I'll sign the editor to do the editing of the video word so that he can bring a video that is properly edited that can be sent out. Thank you for that suggestion. Jonathan Ja, I've seen you have unmuted yourself. Do you have something to say? Just briefly, as we wind up. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's Jonathan just speaking. What I would like to say is on the issue of Congo, I think the only way forward is to find ways on how to hold the leaders that are influencing these things, because as we can see, the youths are killing each other and there is war on the ground, and the people that are dying are the young generation, are the young youth, and we know who are bringing these wars into these people. So I think as Pan-Africans, what we need to do is to find ways on how to hold these leaders accountable, to investigate and come up with proper information that we can use on how to hold them accountable. I think that is my suggestion, and I think if we can do that, everything will come to order.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Inumi. You haven't spoken. Do you have something to say? Just very quickly. As I've said, we are in our end times of this. Brother Inumi, just very quickly. Probably, what do you think we should do? If you have something to say. If you are not very close, I see Ras Pala is also here. Just quickly, on what do you think we should do? Ras Pala? Brother Ras Pala? Okay.
No, my father, no, my Lord, man. Let me observe, man. That's it, man.
Okay, thank you. Colin Mandingo, we had called you before. Do you have something to say very quickly on what you should do? We are picking what do you think should be done. Colin? Okay. If you're not ready, then brother Kwame, I'll be calling you to wind up, but let me give also my little opinion on this very quickly.
You haven't asked me what I think we should do.
No, you will be winding up on what do you think we should do, because I want you to close up the class.
Okay.
So to me, my understanding is that.
Hello, sorry.
Yes,
Hello?
Renumi?
Yeah, thank you. I was actually trying to see if I can just listen through. But since you called, let me just, what I want to advise us to do is there is need for us to strengthen the Pan-African movement among ourselves, to institutionalize the Pan-African movement. Like my sister from Nigeria rightly said, what is happening in Congo is not different from what is happening in all the caricature countries that Europeans created for themselves. It's just that probably Congo is a bit on the bleed now, because the forces there are operating in a free system where the indigenes are not even strong enough to put up resistance. Here in Nigeria, it's just because some of us are still putting up a little bit of resistance, and then the black European, like somebody rightly said, are not free to operate anyhow. So they still have to exercise some cautions. So that's where it seems to be different. Nigeria is also a big country that if Europeans have their way, they want to divide it into 2 or into 3, as they've divided Congo, as they've divided Sudan, as they've divided all other big, the initial ones that they thought is bigger, is too big for them to pocket, as they tried to do after the Berlin conference of that they divided us. So the point is, we the Pan-Africanists, we need to, like I used to say, we need to do more. We need to have foot on the ground. We need to have feet on the ground. We need to be networking. We need to be doing things. We need to be building our institution. We also need to come to reality that whatever we are talking, we are saying, is going to involve money. We should be thinking of in terms of economy. How do we raise resources where we need to use resources to prosecute our vision? How do we raise those resources? How do we get resources to get things done? Because we can't achieve anything talking weekly on the Zoom or just talking anytime. We need to put actions against our words. That's my take for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Colin, I was going to cut you, but now that your hand is up, kindly be very brief on what we must do.
Yes, good day. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, I am operating from the Caribbean island of Dominica in the OECS, and there is really the issue of a lack of consciousness, not only within the context of Africa, but also within the African diaspora. And it is rather unfortunate, and I recognize this as an indictment on the functionalism of education, because the education system does not operate in a manner to create that degree of realism as to precisely what is happening on the continent. So the University of the West Indies would have embarked on a variety of initiatives to enlighten individuals, but the message is not being transformed within the context of the ghetto, in the community, within civil society, within a non-government organization. So we do believe that in order for us to create that level of consciousness, we need persons to be aware as to precisely what is it that is happening within the continent. We hear what is happening in Gaza, and we see how that matter is being pushed, how it's being manifested within the consciousness of the international community. But here it is, we have Congo, and our brothers and sisters have been subjected to the situation. And then, so a lot of what must we do? Awareness. That is very, very important. Awareness.
How do you propose we do that?
Yeah. Okay.
How do you propose we do that?
I didn't get that.
How do you propose we do that?
Well, we have to get to the people. We need to go on the ground. We have to speak. We have to go to the schools, speak to the teachers, speak to the administrators, speak to the youth organizations, persons who operate within the context of the non-government organizations. We need to have a lobbying interest within Europe, Africa, North America, America. We need to do this. What is the Black Congressional Congress saying about what is happening? What is persons like Louis Farrakhan, who is an internationally renowned spokesperson on a variety of affairs, what are they saying to create that degree of intellectual consciousness to arouse that within the Black community universally? So that is very, very important. What we are having is a series of forums where we are talking to the converted. What is the guy in the ghetto region? What is the level of awareness?
Okay, thank you.
Information needs to be directed at them to create that social change. We need to lobby persons who are part of the political entities. We need to do those things. The politicians, the parliaments around the world. We need to have that kind of strategic, policy framework to create that change. Otherwise, unless the people don't take to the streets in their numbers, then the politicians are not going to listen to them.
Thank you.
And that is very, very important.
Thank
We
you.
need to do this.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. So,
All right.
thank you very much, Brother Kwame. I'll not be long enough because our time is up, but I'll say that the war all over Africa is on the land, the soil.
Yes.
And not only the land, is what is below the land, the minerals and the value of the land. And therefore, the people are killed, suffer casualty of people wanted to access our land, and because we resisted, they kill us to access it. And as to the class of consciousness, the land in this case will be considered as the primary reality, then give birth to anything you want. It gives us wealth, it gives us security, it gives us protection, it gives us industry. And therefore, it should be very clear call that any foreigners, the so-called the Western countries that operate anything on our land must get out of our land. That's the first condition, because they cannot be on our land, either as a military base, either doing their so-called minerals, either having their so-called agreement. We don't need them, because that exploitation of our land is what makes them end up even killing us just to exploit our land, and that must stop. So that is my humble call to action, that the all foreign companies, all foreign whatever called citizens who have accusation on our land and using our land must just get out of it. They must just be back. We don't know how they're going to do it, but they must just get out of it, because that land is what caused everything that is going on now. So back to you, Brother Kwame, as we end.
And what if they refuse?
That's what I was going to say. How do we do that? Because it's just going to be another war breaking out. Because they're not going to go anywhere. All Total, the petrol companies, all the refineries.
Brother DJ, that is why some have that's what some have said, that ultimately there will be war in Africa to resolve the unification of Africa. Because like you said, those who are the peaks you mentioned, they're not going to just walk away.
That's right. Yeah, so, they're not.
So there are those who believe that. You see, so we plan to have a part 2 of the Carlson Putin interview, and Brother Pigeon may tell us when that is scheduled to take place. And in that analysis, again on a Saturday like this, we will focus on economics. So the idea that in terms of geopolitics, the whole confrontation in Ukraine, which is a proxy war between America and Russia, the whole point is to go for China. And the reason they are going for China is to keep Africa where it is. So this whole thing we are saying is all about Africa. And interestingly, Gaza is part of Africa. People don't realize that. Israel is part of Africa. What is happening in Israel is on African soil. Again, because of the way the narrative has been cleverly, if you like, carved, people don't realize, and I think that has been raised here, that there's a lack of consciousness. What is happening to Palestinians, as Sister Uzomaka was trying to point out, as in the Congo, that's what's happening in Congo. But then that is happening in Nigeria. You know, those who live in the resource-rich areas in Ghana, for instance, but the Kafu days here, he will tell you, they come under attack as well. So this whole thing, this whole thing is just one big war to keep Africa underdeveloped, ununited, unliberated, so that they can continue to steal our resources. But anyway, the time is 9:15. We don't usually, and Chair, please, next time just finish at 9, because you didn't ask our permission to go beyond 9. You just told us. But if we are going to go beyond 9, you must ask us the the audience whether we want it or not. Because as a practice, we don't go beyond 9. When we say 2 hours, it's 2 hours, brother. We don't go beyond 9. So I want to apologize on behalf of CSG that we've gone 50 minutes beyond the allocated time. I would like to assure you that that is not our usual practice. Last week was unusual because we were sabotaged, we believe. because we were discussing the Putin-Carlson interview, and we believe we were sabotaged. And so, anyway, so to bring the meeting to a close, then let's remind ourselves what we have agreed on, or what we've not agreed on, but the solutions that have been proposed. I've tried to number them, trying to look for number one, because people have also been making contributions. So number one, it was suggested that, trying to look for it, can't see it. Number one, it was suggested that we expose. The brother who spoke from the Congo said we should expose what is happening. So that was the first suggested action. Then we had, I didn't put down who said what. Then we had 2, the call for the disarmament of all armed groups. Then 3, there was a call on the African Union to act, including expulsion. 4, that we write a letter to a Kenyan official, I believe. I don't know, Brother Pigeon was saying, he's a former Kenyan president, to answer some questions on our behalf. There was also that fighting for the indigenous people and education by our brother from Biafra. And then there was my 6 was to educate the world about the history of the Congo crisis. Someone mentioned that. As I said, I didn't write the names of those who said what. Then we use the radio of DJ Mr. P and invite experts on Congo to talk about the issues. Number 8 was a mediation, discussion, or conference of young people so they can talk to one another. Number 9, that we reach out to the Alliance of the Sahel States to help sort out Congo. 10, that we contact the former president of Kenya, who is leading a peacekeeping mission to the Congo, also to receive or request ask him what Pan-Africans can or should do. And then there was to raise awareness about what is happening in the Congo. I think Sister Zomaka, I think, mentioned that, to widen the awareness, Sister Zomaka. And then Brother Colin, I think, Brother Anthony said, he suggests that we produce a documentary on the Congo, asking for the help of technical people, which Brother Pigeon has suggested is possible. And then our brother is it Barbados, Brother Colin? Is it Barbados, or I think I couldn't quite. I think
Dominica. He's in Dominica.
Dominica, yeah. So I just said that we find ways to hold accountable. No, before that. Before that, 13. That we find ways to hold accountable the African leaders who have been at resource wars and the killing of youth. I think that was number 13. And I think, brother, it was. Then it was suggested that we raise resources to prosecute our actions. And then Brother Numi said we need money and resources to do this. And so that's what suggested. And we can't do anything without money. And then 15, it was we should go to schools, youth organizations, NGOs, Black congressmen, Nation of Islam, the brother Colin, I think, suggested this, and to all parts of the non-converted, because when we hold these meetings, it's the same people that attend. And I think you will agree with me that we started Saturday sessions in order to reach out to beyond those who are interested and who are kind of what people call the converted. And so I think what people are suggesting here is in line with what we have suggested that we should be doing. And then I think Brother Collins's presentation, who also mentioned that demonstrations by people who must know who must know what is happening. So in Kenya, for instance, why don't we organize, just an example, by the way, why don't we organize a small demonstration just to raise awareness? In Nigeria, small demonstrations raise awareness. In Ghana, Brother Kafui, why don't we organize a small demonstration, not something big, small demonstration, just to raise awareness? Because once 4 or 5 people walk down the road with police protection, hopefully the police will protect them, not kill them, the press will pick it up and then it will become a story in the newspapers. So why don't we organize something small, demonstrations, nothing violent, just an awareness raising demonstration and things. So yeah, these are what people have suggested, and I've read them out. So Brother PG will compile them all, and then we'll put them together for you. Thank you all for coming. I'm sorry it's 9:20. We don't usually go this late. Even in the UK, it's late when it's 9. But thank you all for coming. We shall meet on Thursday. And those of you who want to join, please, Brother P, you might want to put the link in there for people who want to join, the Thursday classes, so that they can join. But
the Thursday classes is the same link we've used today. This is the Thursday class link. Anyway, there was a mistake.
Excellent. So you know how to join us on Thursday. Use the same link. The Saturday sessions that are ahead that I have noted down, Brother Pigeon, correct me if there are others, is the Carson Putin interview, part 2 on economics. I have suggested we look at dialectics and military battles, the stupidity of the American elite, and that's the second one I'm suggesting. We haven't agreed it here, but they are suggesting. Then the third one is the geopolitical rise of Africa and the balance of global military power and economics. So those are some of the things we'll be looking at. Please, if you have any suggestions as to what you think we should be looking into, drop a line to Brother Pigeon as to what you think we should be discussing on a Saturday like this, and then we'll put that in the diary. We are only in February. We have 10 more months to go in the year, so there's a lot to discuss. Every Saturday we are discussing, but on Thursdays we strictly discuss philosophy and ideology.
Okay, Brother Kwame,
that's about it, really. Sorry, Brother Anthony?
According to Pigeon, we are going to discuss the Caribbean next week.
Yeah, it's next Saturday.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just mentioning some of the things that are coming up. I'm not suggesting it's for next week at all.
Next Saturday is Caribbean, so we'll
that's
discuss
fine.
that.
Yeah, we discuss that. So, a brother from what's the place? Brother Colin, you might want to join this next Saturday. We'll be here from the Caribbean, and I think the idea of discussing the Caribbean or hearing from the Caribbean is because they are our brothers and they are the 6th region of the African Union. Therefore, we need to hear from them. We also have brothers and sisters in Brazil and other parts of the world. And I think GAC UK is doing a lot, speaking to the Brazilians, but we don't usually do. But it would be nice to hear from the Caribbean and other parts of the African diaspora or the 6th region, as it is said. My name is Christian Kwame Agbodza. I come from Ghana originally, the land of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And so thank you very much for coming, and thank you for staying with us. I know some of you have asked to leave. Thank you for coming anyway. So have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are, and goodbye.